It's DatBoyFred, host of FanvVew podcast. Tune into the NOTN app, weekdays, 3:30 for the FanvVew podcast. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com to watch more episodes of FanvVew podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.
Hi everybody, my name is Tyrone Mitchell. I'm social head coach here at Xavier University here in New Orleans, and you're watching FanvVew podcast. Check it out. They say this year's draft is probably the worst drafts. But John Lucas will speak out on it because he's a guy that, that
You're around them kids.
Right,
Rico
man.
Hines, Bo Williams. Yeah.
And he up front. And he go tell the truth, and their respect is mine. I just think, man, they got to come together. We could talk about, the Europeans all day long, but like you say, if the leaders ain't talking about it, which I think it will come out soon, right after the draft.
Yep.
If not this one, the next one.
Welcome to another episode of the FanvVew podcast. It's your boy G-Sportz.
Coach Hurricane here, back at it again.
And again. We back at it, man. Got a special friend in the building, Xavier, associate head coach Tyrone Mitchell. Good friend of mine, man. Been knowing you probably about a good 6, 7, 8 years. I'll never forget when I first was able to build a relationship with you, man. You came recruit a kid from my hometown and my alma mater, Rayshawn Martin, who ended up being an All-American at Xavier, but we'll get into all of that.
Yep.
Everybody that's watching, man, make sure you follow the FanvVew live page on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you follow your boy G-Sportz. I'm at 24,000 subscribers, man. I'm trying to get to 25K, man. Help your boy out.
Help your boy out, man. But
Coach Mitch, man, we always like to start our podcast off, bro, talking about your journey. Man, take me back and take the viewers back to when you grew up in New Iberia. And when did you fall in love with the game of basketball, and how did the game of basketball get you to where you at today? One of the most highly touted coaches in the state of Louisiana, winning conference championships, molding young men, turning them into All-Americans, where they're able to go into the next chapter of their life and be successful young men, man.
Oh, man. First of all, I want to say thank y'all, man, for having me on. None of this was possible, man, without God. That's first and foremost. Growing up, man, in New Iberia, it was it was a challenge, just like everywhere else. Didn't really get no identity until I started getting my respect. And you know how that go, in the neighborhoods, once you get your respect, you gain your identity.
Right.
Growing up in New Iberia is not really a big outlet.
Right.
It's a football town. Not too many guys that play basketball made it out. I think I'm one of the few. But growing up, man, normal childhood, raised in a home where, it was rough. Mama worked hard. So I always looked at that and tried to use basketball as my motivational tool. That's all I remember was people saying, if you play basketball well, you get a scholarship. That's all I was worrying about. I wasn't worrying about where I went, who I went to. I was just worrying about getting a scholarship.
Free 99.
Free 99, man. And, started playing at Anderson Middle School, where really before that, I'm going to just take you back. In New Iberia, I was
Take us back, man.
Yeah, man, New Iberia. Starting out, man, 7 or 8 years old, I think I scored 64 points in a bitty basketball game.
Come on, Lord.
Yeah, man, and I think they still have that up in the Martin Luther King Center in New Iberia right now. Didn't really know it at the time. I didn't. Still didn't hit me. I was just playing with my friends. So it went from there to playing AAU, playing against some really good competition. Then he went to middle school. In middle school, I started in the 7th grade for Anderson Middle School, which was unheard of.
Yep. Especially back then.
Yeah, if you start in the 7th grade over 8th graders, you had something going on. So went there, man, and did a great job. And under Coach Fondal, who's like highly respected, one of the best middle school coaches, one of the best coaches I played for, period. Taught me discipline, time management, and that's something that I always respect him for. Growing up in New Iberia, man, I had 2 younger brothers. Grew up in a rough neighborhood, and it still carried with me till today. I'm a guy that I always observe the room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always watching the watches, and I'm always a real dude. What you see is what you go get. Man, you want to talk about life, we could talk about life. But that's what I was taught, man, in New Iberia. Just always be upfront with people, and deal with the rest, on the back end. But grew up with 2 younger brothers. Um, they didn't play sports. We was almost a product of our environment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that, G.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could talk about that more and more because my life is, man, it's really like, I don't know, man, it's like a movie. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much more you want me to get deep into it.
Man, we always just like to get people insight on what molded you into who you are today, because the Tyrone Mitchell we see today wasn't probably the Tyrone Mitchell we seen back in Anderson Middle.
Oh, man.
And just kind of touch on like what the trials and tribulations you went through, man, and got you to be the person you are.
Okay.
Because everybody posting their success, nobody posting their failures, though.
Yes, and that's the God honest truth. G. Well, I went to middle school, man. Half of the guys that I went to middle school with right now, either in jail for murder or probably in jail for armed robbery or dead. And this is a fact. So I went to guys, I went to school with guys that really was talented but didn't make it to the next level, which is high school. They didn't take the academic piece seriously. Me neither. So moved on to ninth grade. Ninth grade year, we had a talented freshman team. At the time, it was New Iberia Freshman High.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a freshman school. Had a lot of talent, man. So playing in freshman high, I actually got a chance to go play with the 10th and 11th and 12th graders. So I'm like, well, man, maybe I have something. Everybody talking, and everybody know my nickname is Tucci.
Right.
So, not too many people know me as Tyrone Mitchell. Everybody know me as Tucci.
Mhm.
So, that was a big piece for me going into my 8th grade summer to my 9th grade year, because I was actually playing against guys from other middle schools. So now we was one school. I had guys from Bell Place, had guys from Iberia Middle. So now we're all one team, and it was like a big beef thing. Where I'm better than you.
Territorial.
Yep. So coach had to figure out how to get all these guys into one team. These guys from one end of New Iberia, they from a different part of New Iberia. They don't like each other. There's so much going on. So to make a long story short, I wind up standing out, played there, did well. We wind up beating the JV team for New Iberia Senior High, because at the time we only had 2 high schools. We had Cali High, New Iberia, and New Iberia Senior High.
So there wasn't any. Westgate wasn't a school back then.
Well, Westgate was freshman high.
Okay, didn't know that.
So they took freshman high and made Westgate. So Westgate is considered the uptown kids.
Gotcha.
So Westgate, so many kids are so good there because they're feeder school for all 3 projects
Mm-hmm.
in
Gotcha.
Iberia. So it's so many athletes.
For real.
So many athletes, man. You could just pick them off the streets, man. There's so many athletes. But the guidance wasn't there. But now the guidance is there now, and you can see what it's doing, for Westgate. But so wind up going to New Iberia Freshman High. I start falling off with my grades, man. I'm gonna be honest. I started getting off into other things, which was normal for me in my neighborhood. All my friends, was coming to school with thousands of dollars. And with me seeing that, I wanted to make $1,000. So, I started following the trend, and that's what I was saying. I was almost a product of my environment. So what changed my life was my 9th grade summer. My 9th grade summer, I almost got shot in the head. So I pushed the gun just in time. It grazed me on the chest. I'm gonna make you laugh, G, because 2 weeks later I had a national AAU tournament to go to. And I didn't want to tell my AAU coaches, who is Chris Poulard, now the assistant coach at David Thibodeau, Mr. Nolan Hamilton, and the late David Thibodeau, who's well known in the Lafayette, New Iberia area, Baton Rouge area. Some kind of way they found out, and that's when it started making sense to me. Because being a product of your environment, when something like that happens behind a robbery, you got to take care of your business.
Right.
And I was almost to that level, and thank God I didn't do that. So that led to me going into my sophomore year. Sophomore year, man, joking around with my grades, I wound up being ineligible.
Damn.
I didn't play at all. Played AAU that summer, did well. Everybody was like, why you didn't play high school? Then my AAU coach was like, man, he don't want to focus on his grades.
I know that was embarrassing.
Man, that was embarrassing, man.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing. Man, my dad was a street guy, so, that wasn't on his radar. My mom worked hard, so only thing my mom knew, I was just playing basketball. I was staying out of trouble. But one thing about it, even though I was almost a product of my environment, I always had values. Always respected people. Always worked hard with basketball. Always. I didn't let that slack. So, going into that, after that, my 11th grade year, I had summer school, my 10th grade summer. My 11th grade year, I wound up playing. My only year of high school ball. And we went to the top 28. Went to the top 28. I was MVP of the area. I was all-state. And that was it, man. I mean, I was all kind of stuff. But that was the year St. Aug won it. They beat South Lafourche in the state championship. I think Hollis and Quantas was on that team. We lost to St. Aug in the top 28 in the Final Four. But that was my only full year playing basketball.
Far as varsity.
As far as varsity. Not everybody know that. So after that, man, my AAU coaches, man, we went to nationals. We wound up playing well, man. Me, Tyrone Mitchell, Josh Thibodeau. Man, we had all D1 guys. And Jermaine Spencer, was the number one player in the state at the time. He committed to LSU. We wound up going to nationals. So the word got out that I had the academic problem. So my AAU coaches wound up meeting a guy from a prep school. The guy from the prep school was like, man, we'll take him. And I ain't never heard of prep school.
Right.
So when I got home, they called my mom before I got home. My mom was like, you going? I'm like, Mom, I promise you, I'm going to get my grades. And you just let me stay in New Iberia. And
and usually the mama don't want their baby to lead in this.
That's true, man. That's true, man. Man, I cried. To be honest, man, I cried. And but that decision wound up changing my life forever. Wound up going to the prep school, played well. We won the TAPS championship in Texas. Man, I was all tournament teams with guys like Andre Owens or Andre Emmett, the one that passed away.
Yeah, that went to Texas Tech. Yeah, he was real good. He played for Bobby Knight.
Played with Bobby Knight.
He was real good.
Wind up going there, man. I mean, I did well, man. I'm gonna be honest. I did well at the prep school. I did so well that they just wanted kids from Louisiana. Wind up going there. Funny story. Played football, and I used to play football too. Went there, played football, man, and actually got some interest from Texas A&M.
Come on,
man, it was crazy.
What position you was playing?
Man, punt returner, wide receiver.
I see that twitchiness in you. Like I can see you,
cornerback,
making people miss.
Safety. That's what it was. So they used to call me Water. So I had a coach. So my head coach was, oh man, they gonna kill me for not remembering this guy, football coach. But his son wound up going to Wake Forest, and he was a quarterback because he went to the public school, Harlingen South, there in Harlingen, Texas. Coach Martin, man, wound up playing with the Falcons. So, man, he knew a lot of people. And this was an all-boy military school. Went there, did well, got my grades, played there, man. I played under Coach Jones, great coach. Now he's a high school coach in Lufkin, Texas. Just a real good dude, man. Talked to him this morning, actually. Just a great guy, man. Helped me, man. Saved my life, actually. Saved my life. And ever since then, man, I ain't looked back. Wind up signing with Northwestern State. Had some other offers, but I want to be closer to home. I was 10 hours away from home. I was South Texas, and signed with Northwestern State, and man, the rest is history.
Do you think going to that prep school helped prepare you for college? Because that's the biggest for
Structure.
that's the biggest hurdle that most kids have. That's their first time away from home. So by you going to prep school in a whole nother state, it did. So I would think that made that freshman year of college like transition just seamless.
Oh man, I was like a fish out of water. Could you imagine a kid from New Iberia, Louisiana, going to an all-boy prep school? Man, you're waking up at 5:30 in the morning. You're running 3 miles. You got homework check. You got guys that's in the 9th grade telling you what to do because they're higher ranked than you. You got to clean your shoes. You got to make your bed. You got to stand in a single file line while you eat your food or you preparing to get your food. But all those things taught me discipline. It taught me how to be patient also. I was a kid. I didn't have a dime. I went there, man, and those people gave me $75 a week. And I went to school with all millionaires. That school cost it 40-some thousand to go there a year. And it's still running till today. So I went to school with all millionaires. And, while I went there, I wound up, making connections with really good dudes. Dudes that work as, I don't know, business owners. Merrill Lynch, man, his son went to the school. I go on and on, man. Man, my roommate name was David Sanchez. I can't find him, so if you ever see this, man, I hope he called me. He was from Boston. So he wound up going to Texas Tech as a walk-on, as quarterback. I believe quarterback. And, man, one weekend he took me to his grandparents' house in Brownsville, Texas. Man, look, let me tell you, I didn't want to go. I'm like, man, I don't want to go over there, man. I don't, that ain't my speed.
Right.
I wound up going over there, man, and I just saw a whole different view of life, man. His grandmother then was rich. Man, they had a ranch where they found oil on their ranch. I forget the running back for the Cowboys back in the days.
Not Tony Dorsett.
Tony Dorsett used to go hunt wild hogs on their ranch. I didn't even know who Tony Dorsett was. So we used to go to South Padre Island, man. We had a condo. We had every new car you could think of. His grandmother gave us cars, man, to go to dealers and shop. I never brought Nautica in my life.
Man, that's what Nautica was. The top thing to wear back then.
So
yes.
Yeah, man, that changed
Boy, you bring
my
back some
life.
memories right there. That Nautica.
So that changed my life, man. My journey is definitely, man, a journey, man, that, man, sometimes I look back and I'm, sometimes, man, I amaze myself. That's why, man, when I recruit kids, I'm always close to them. Because there's stories that I hear that always bring me back. Whether you came from a single parent home, man, whether your dad in the streets, whether you came from a marriage household, I could relate to that also. But man, it's been a journey. It's been a journey, man.
Take me back to your Northwestern days, man. You was a part of a program where y'all had an opportunity to play in a tournament, upset at Iowa. You always post that around March Madness time when y'all upsetted them. And y'all hit a game-winning shot to win the game, if I'm correct, right?
That's right.
And I thought that's a hell of an experience for anybody, especially coming from a Southland Conference small school like Northwestern State. But take me through your college experience, man, and because you was a scorer coming out of high school. And I really want to dive into this because a lot of kids don't understand that just because you might be the leading scorer on your team in high school, when you get to college, your role might change. Your role was different in Northwestern State. Played a big impact in the team's success, but you wasn't asked to be a high-level scorer. But you still was able to play a big role into y'all making it to the tournament and beating a team like Iowa. Man, take me back to that experience at Northwestern State and how you was able to have a big impact on the team, but your role kind of changed.
Man, I'm gonna make y'all laugh. This how much I was out the loop, really. Like, I just love basketball. my prep school coach came in the office my last year and gave me a McDonald's All-American plaque.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Coach, what's this? He was like, well, you made the second cut, but you didn't make the last cut or something like that. So they gave me a plaque with my name on it, McDonald's All-American. And I'm like, man, I didn't know nothing about this. I'm like, well, I don't know, G, I'm just playing.
Right.
So I go to Northwestern. So we go work out. And I'm there, man, at that time, I'm just, I'm a scorer. I'm talking about 20 off 20.
Right.
I'll give you 20 like that. Jumping, lobs, all that. When I went to the prep school, my jumping ability went from average to, high. Now, I don't know how, because I used to run with strength shoes every day.
Yeah.
So I go to Northwestern, and, I'm like, here. I ain't gonna lie, they got good guys, but I'm like, here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I always took winning serious.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, Coach, man, all I do is, man, look, Coach, everywhere I go, man, I win. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, I want to win. So me and Coach Les, who was the former head coach at UNO, Coach Les was recruiting me. He wound up taking over for Coach Buzz that's at Texas A&M right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Coach Buzz was recruiting me first. He wound up getting a job somewhere, I think UNO.
Mm-hmm.
And then Coach Les took over. And that's how I went to Northwestern State. But going there, I was sizing everybody up. Because in my mind, I was thankful for the opportunity, but I always felt I was better than that.
Yep.
And but I always say, man, look, be where your feet are.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went there, I think I was the leading scorer my freshman year, the first 7 games. My first game against New Mexico State, the Lobos,
Mm-hmm.
New Mexico.
New Mexico State.
They had a guy named Reuben Douglas. He led the nation in scoring. He averaged like 30 points a game. But my first game, I think I had like 24 points. My first collegiate game. And I'm like, man, I'm about to kill this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's in my mind. And we wound up losing 54-50. We had the youngest team in college basketball. We had all freshmen. Dickie V gave us a shout out against North Carolina. It was a Duke North Carolina game. So, to answer G question, Coach Mike called me in the office and he said, Tyrone, if you lead us in scoring, we ain't gonna never win a game.
Mm.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, man, I'm out of here. I'm like, no, this ain't for me. So I called Coach Poulard, who was my AAU coach. They had a big influence on me, choosing schools.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Coach Poulard, this is not the place for me. And he said, man, just hang in there. So, shout out to Coach Poulard, man, Coach Scotty Burrell. But Coach Poulard really made me focus. And he said, man, just lead this team, man. Lead them. So I went from a scorer to a pure point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, man, just leading. And that's just my natural ability. I'm the oldest of 3.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to make sacrifices. I'm just always leading. It's just a natural thing to me. And went there, man. I accepted my role. I went from a 20-point scorer in prep school to 7-point scorer in college.
Right.
5 assists, 6 assists.
Super sacrifice.
But I only played 20 minutes a game. We did 5 in, 5 out. But it worked. And I never forget, man, we was about to play Iowa. And Coach Les said, man, we playing Iowa, man. They got Jeff Horner and these other dudes and, Big Ten Player of the Year. The guard that I was guarding was Big Ten Player of the Year. So I'm like, Coach, man, they put their shoes on like us. I said, man, I'm a winner.
Right.
I don't know about nobody else in this room, but I'm a winner. Since I stepped foot on Northwestern State campus, we won. So that's all I know how to do. And
I'm infectious, man.
Right. So if you don't want to win, just don't even be here.
Put Tyrone in.
That's just the mindset I always have. And I always tell people, man, they tie these shoes like you. You just got to outwork them. So, man, we wind up winning that game. Man, that stuff changed my life, man. Coach Mike changed lives for coaches. Coach Simmons went on, who was my assistant coach to be, the head coach at McNeese. Coach Les went on to be the head coach at UNO.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Mike wound up getting a huge contract. He got his name on the court now. That team changed a lot of lives. change the town of Natchitoches. So you know that's one of the things. I had to sacrifice. I had to be humble. To help that team win, because I ain't do it by myself. I had teammates, Byron Allen, Clifton Lee, and Jermaine Wallace. The guy that hit the shot. Keenan Jones, a guy who rest his soul, one of the best guards I ever played against. Luke Rogers. Guys that people don't really know that was really good ball players. Curran Forge is not a head coach at Douglas. Man, one of my good friends.
I played against Curran.
Yep. Man Spencer. Big time athlete, man. So we had a team, man. We had a team with the guys that understood the sacrifice of winning. I don't think it will be another team like that in Northwestern State history unless I'm the head coach. But it was a lot of sacrificing. I'm gonna say that, man. Taught me a lot too, man, on and off the floor.
I think that's important to touch on. That's why I asked you that question, because in this day and age, and Mitch, so many kids think it's about scoring.
Stat sheet.
And they don't understand how team success brings individual success.
That's right.
And just like you just said, look how many opportunities everybody got from the team success. And I think that's why I kind of wanted to touch on your sacrifice, because I knew you was a scorer. And shout out to your AAU coach for making you stick it through.
Right.
And figure it out and do it the right way, bro.
And man, you're right, man. That team success, man, it brought a lot of individual success. Man, I averaged for my career, I don't know, G, you might want to check, I forgot. I was the all-time steals leader. I think I was third in assists or second in assists now.
And they named you like in the Fab 50 or something like that in Northwestern history?
In Northwestern history, top
That's big,
50 players.
Bro. Like to be in the top 50 in a school history? Come on, man.
Athletes of all, yeah.
Come on, man.
And on average, I think it was 9 and 6, or maybe 7 and 6, for my career. But man, like G said, I went on and played almost 9 years in year from those stats. So the only thing I needed was a chance. So we wound up having 5 guys, man, go overseas and play. I'm talking about some legit leagues.
You played in Europe. That's the best of the best.
Yeah, man.
That's where everybody's trying to get to when they get over there.
And it's unheard of, man, to average, man, what I averaged.
And to get that shot.
And to get that chance. And, we were signing with some good agencies, man. And like G said, man, that team success just opened so many doors. And kids out there, man, if you're watching this, own what you do. If you get to college, man, and they want you to be the best defender, be that.
Yep.
Shout out to Squeaky.
Squeaky Johnson?
Squeaky, man. Squeaky from New Orleans, man. Great defender. I used to watch him, man, in college. Just always owned his role. And that took him, that put him through doors he could never imagine. So, man, it's all about sacrificing. It's not about scoring. And I want high school coaches to know that, when you're evaluating your own kid, man, just be honest with him.
Yep.
If you're a great defender, then, man, let him own that. If you're a great scorer, then let him own that. Because, as college coaches, when we get the kid and you say X, Y, and Z, if he not that, then, we kind of stuck with that.
Yeah.
And then we trust your evaluation also. That's why I always tell G, man, if you see me in the gym, I'm there for a reason.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of college coaches work hard. They work hard. G work hard. You work hard. But it take me a good while to really be sold on a kid. And I'll be honest, and sometimes that hurt me, because I'm a straightforward dude. That might hurt me in his business. I've been at Xavier 10 years. And I know I have an eye for talent.
Definitely.
And I could coach. But, I'm just humble. I'm not going to knock nobody out the way to get where I got to get. Man, when God says, man, it's my time to move on, then I'm going to move on throughout his blessings.
I got a question for you. And it came up to me just listen to the journey, especially that last piece when G was asking you about the how you had to transition roles when you was at Northwestern, and the finals just ended.
Yep.
And it's crazy to me how well, it's not crazy because we all coaches, so we understand this, and I don't understand why the league hasn't caught on to this. The last 3 champions were all programs franchise mindset by that. They built through the draft. The coaching staff didn't change much. They might have added 1 or 2 pieces, but it was homegrown, done the right way.
In-house.
What I'm saying, doing the program. Why do you think it's taken the league so long to follow that mindset that the college coaches drive on?
Because it's big time money involved. The politics of that. Money rules everything. Like if you have a GM, and you and him don't see eye to eye, and he have a friend that's making less money than the head coach that's capable of being the head coach, they don't mind making that move. That's why there's so much change going on in the league. But to speak on what you're speaking on, those top teams are all culture teams. The Lakers are that's cultivated. That's been through the 80s, the 70s. The Celtics, that's culture.
18 championships.
So when you look at those squads, man, they ain't really moving too many pieces.
Right.
Because they believe in their culture. And they believe that they're a household name. Now when you get your Milwaukee Bucks, that's kind of like lightning striking, every once in a while. But they could be the same way. But it's so much change, we spoke on Coach Griffin. He was doing a great job. But somewhere down the line, they didn't see eye to eye. So they made the change for Doc Rivers. So now that set that team back.
Yep.
Maybe 1 or 2 years.
Yep.
Easy.
So, when you got money involved, especially in those high places, man, it's just so hard to have loyalty. Because guys ain't, if it ain't about basketball, then what is it about?
And see that, and to me, that I think that's the big thing. That's the biggest for me. I think that's the biggest draw from football to basketball, because there's so many people on football. So like everybody's not gonna get that big check that's on the team. So you might have 3, 4 like high paid kids. Everybody else is that like it's a job, but like they love this. Like
Right.
you might have a practice squad guy like, hey, look, I love coming here just is doing this. The NBA don't have that much roster space
Right.
for that, and I think what's gotten in the way, and I think you hit on it, was the ego and the money has outweighed the fundamental and the love of the game.
That's right.
Because you get somebody like Dame, and I'm not saying that Dame don't love the game, but Milwaukee, I felt like set themselves back when you had Drew, who was just like you said, I'm a star in my role. I'm an all defense, boom, boom. I could always score, but why go score when I got this around me? But if they not eating, I didn't tow you up on defense. You don't have the energy. You can't stay with me now. Now the 20 I give you gonna look like 40.
Right.
And I think like that's the everybody's looking for the shiny thing and forget that without the metal, it doesn't do nothing.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. We seen it right now. I know G know, and you know a lot of qualified coaches in the NBA. G had texted me right before this interview about Jason Tatum and top 5 dudes in the league. It starts from the top. You got a guy like JJ Redick. Ain't never coached a day in his life. So in the players' eyes, like, where's the loyalty? So now you like, man, it's a business. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get what I gotta get. I'm out of here. So you see the loyalty with the Celtics now, because it was a point in time where they had to make a decision on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But the loyalty came in where Brad Stevens said, man, we're going to sign both of them. And we're going to go get Drew Holiday, who is a winner, but who's very humble, to show them how to win a championship. Now, they might not say that but that's why they brought Drew Holiday there.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Brad Stevens is a real mastermind, man. Coaching and getting guys to buy in and seeing his vision. But that's where the loyalty come in to answer your question.
And how humble was it for Brad Stevens to say, let me step away from the sideline and go in the front office and just orchestrate and put a team together, right? And I think that was big. And to piggyback on the whole Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum thing, when it was up 3-1, or it might have been 3-0, and Shaq told Jaylen Brown in the post game interview, he said, don't let the media and don't let everybody come between what you and Jason Tatum trying to accomplish about who team this is. You the better player, he the better player. Don't let that get in the way of y'all winning the championship. He said, because that messed me up when I was young with Penny Hardaway. Right?
It could have been special.
Yeah, because there's no reason in the world why Penny Hardaway and Shaq shouldn't have won at least one.
With Nick,
at least one.
With Nick Scott, Dennis Scott,
man.
Nick Anderson, Horace Grant.
Yeah, it was ready.
Yeah.
It was ready, man.
But I do want to talk about the Xavier basketball program, bro.
Nice.
We had Coach AJ on here, and he gave his perspective on how y'all was able to build something special over there. But I want to get your perspective on what y'all been able to do over these last 9 years. I think it's been remarkable, bro. So many All-Americans, a ton of conference championships, made a run in the national tournament, and also building young men. How have y'all been able to get Xavier to where it's at today?
Man, Coach AJ, man, me and him work well together, man. When you work well with someone, it just, it shows. I think we totally opposite, but we mesh so well together. I'm more defensive minded, and Coach AJ is really offensive minded. He's the X's and O's, man. He's one of the best guys I've been around. I'm talking about he's a student of the game offensively. Very good, man. Just break down stuff, to where, man, you can't miss it. And man, he believe in me. Man, he know my strengths. And I always told him, I say, look, man, we gonna win a national championship with Louisiana kids. That's big with me. And not wrong, we not going wrong with out of state kids, but the Louisiana kids, we just got a different mindset. Straight dogs, starting with Ray Sean Mark, William Lord, kid from Baton Rouge. Ray Sean is from home, Gray, with the H.L. Bourgeois High School.
The foundation.
Makai Richard from Morgan City. Those guys have household names in this city. Started as young kids, just coming to Xavier. Those guys led us to championships. And Coach AJ always say, T, hey man, look, man, go out there and find us something. Man, so I go out there, man, and I just do my strengths. I look for kids in Louisiana that I know that come from a great background, play hard, don't mind working, and just hungry, man. And that led to even TJ Jones. Kid from Lafayette Christian, like 5'9". Nobody believed in him. Came to Xavier, man. He the all-time winningest player in Xavier history. Started all his years. Just a great point guard. Man, just a pure winner. He won 4 state championships in high school. Came to Xavier and won 3 conference championships. Just a straight winner, man. And we did that with Louisiana kids. With the support of some out-of-state kids, but the majority of our kids was Louisiana kids, and that's where our culture was bred. And man, AJ just did a great. Man, he's still doing a great job. And I really believe, man, we right there to making a run at a national championship. And no disrespect to no universities in this state, but I just think Xavier have a legit chance every year to win a national championship.
No doubt.
They have some great programs. They got some great coaches in this state, guys that work hard. I'm friends with a lot of them. But at our level, I think every year Xavier have a chance to make a run at a national championship, and we right there. We just gotta, keep on working and keep on getting kids, from this area. And I know that's something that you want to talk on. Kids from the New Orleans area. But that's what we're trying to do, man. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do that at Xavier, man. And man, we built that from the ground up, man. With hard work, with guys out of the backyard. Uh, and man, I really think Coach Williams, given a chance as a Division I coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really believe that. I seen it with my own two eyes. It's just preparation got to meet opportunity.
Yep.
And it gonna happen sooner or later. So we just got to keep working till then.
But how? Because I always like to ask. I always like to know and pick coaches' brains when you get to a program and it's not the standard. How did y'all make it the standard in such a short amount of time? I'm not talking about in year 9, year 10. I'm talking about
2, 3.
Yeah, in 2 and 3. Like y'all first year, I think y'all
We
y'all was
won.
500, close to 500 or something like that.
Man, we won 10 games our first year.
And then in the second year, it was like a
We won like 18.
360, bro.
18,
So
19.
what did y'all do in that short amount of time as coaches to turn that program around? And I think a lot of people that watch our podcast, they need those nuggets.
Right. Well, one thing we did, man, we laid our foundation, man, just about defense. A lot of schools, they prepare or they practice an hour and 15 minutes on offense. So we flipped it. So we said, if we can't score, man, we gonna stop you. So the score could be 10-4, but we gonna win.
Right.
So we gonna emphasize defense every day. And if you go look at our games, man, we're a defensive-minded team. Some years we were better than others. I mean, better than other years, defensively. But once we start doing that, we start seeing, winning seasons, championships. Guys start buying in. Man, we start scoring the ball easier. With transition points, defense creating offense. Then we got guys to buy in. Guys start being defensive dogs, taking it personal. Getting guys that was defensive player of the year in the conference. Rayshawn Mart, man, just a dog. Defensive dog, man. Probably the best player in Xavier history. I'm serious. Rayshawn Mart is probably the best player in Xavier history.
2-time All-American or 3-time?
2-time first team All-American.
All-American.
Didn't play the second half of his senior year. He needed 3 games to be the all-time leading scorer.
Yep.
The best player in Xavier history, and that speaks volumes. They have some really good players come out of Xavier. And you talking about a kid from HL Bourgeois that was real lanky, couldn't talk or tie his shoes at the same time. But you see him today, man, he a monster.
Yep.
I really think Rayshawn Mart can make an NBA roster. 6'4" point guard. Jump out the gym, dog, long arms, but guys like that brought the program to another level. And he started as a freshman, and that's what took the program from mediocre, to past average, should I say.
How hard is it to recruit in this state, knowing that football is number one? And so, well, I guess the better way to ask the question, when like football is the breadwinner of the state, and that's just the South in general, then get top tier guys that might be like maybe 10 on down on the list are like dual sport athletes, and they looking at scholarship offer like, man, I could go pay for football at La Tech or possibly basketball at Xavier. Try, especially
How we convince them?
yeah,
come to Xavier.
like especially in the early on. Now, like the the standard. You know what I'm saying? It's not a hard argument, but especially going through that journey in the beginning. Like, how was that?
Oh man, it was tough. It was tough. Nobody, every kid dream is to play Division I basketball. So when you're approaching a kid, man, you're recruiting a kid, you got to make him understand your vision. But it's not really your vision because it's really his. But you got to put it where, look, man, if you come here, we going to make sure that we take care of you. We're going to make sure that you graduate. and we're gonna make sure you grow to be the best basketball player you could be, or student athlete, right? Because when you come to Xavier, it's all about being a student athlete. We have a 95 percentile graduation rate, right? And we ain't talking about no knocks to no degrees, but we talking about high level degrees. We talking about putting people in the world, that gonna change lives. Ray Sean Mark was a chemistry pre-form major. That's not your everyday student athlete.
Right.
So, when we going against that, that's a pitch also. I always tell them, man, when you leave here, you gonna be ready for the world. You gonna have teammates that gonna be doctors, lawyers, business owners, leaders in this world. Coming here, you gonna win. Man, you gonna graduate. That's more important to me than anything.
Beautiful women.
Right, beautiful women. You gonna wind up meeting your wife here.
Yeah.
She gonna be a doctor. And then, just the educational piece that I take serious because I was almost, a guy that was a product of his environment.
Yeah.
So I'll hold you high to that. I tell your parents, first and foremost, if he not here serious about his academics, he ain't gonna make it here. And I'm gonna be calling you to pick him up. So that's why we have, and not just me, Coach Williams also, that's why we have a 95 percentile graduation rate. And we talking about kids that look like us. That people don't think they're smart enough. Or, I'm going to just take, for instance, Makai Richard. He's on pace to get his degree, a business degree. So once you get that degree, and Makai is a leader, he's going to go back to Morgan City and change lives.
Yep.
So now that's a big thing for us. And not saying that we don't recruit, other races or other ethnic backgrounds, but, Xavier's an HBCU school. And, I don't, the guys that we recruit is the guys that we recruit. We would love to recruit more guys in the city. We would love that. That's another subject for another time.
Right.
Shout out to all the coaches in New Orleans, man. Much love from Xavier. But, that's how we get kids to buy in. We sell kids on the educational piece, on the basketball piece. It's a win-win situation. So
I think you have one of the best basketball minds that I've came across. That's why I text you about, the Jason Tatum topic and things like that. When I see you in the gym, we always running it about different situations, whether it's a kid, evaluating, whatever it is. But what I want to know is, Coach, when does a coach know that he's ready to be a head coach of a program?
Oh man, G put me on the spot.
When do you know? Because some coaches out here, man, I think I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready. And then you got other coaches I talk to, they be like, man, I don't know if I'm ready. They kind of be doubting it. So when does a coach know that they're ready?
I mean, when the opportunity is ready. I had two. I could say I had some opportunities. Just had one recently. It just ain't work out. It didn't. Should I say great opportunity, but it didn't make sense. You you're ready when things just second nature to you. The recruiting piece, the admissions piece. Making sure the kid is is well good with the transition coming into school, practice planning, travel, the operational piece.
The infrastructure.
The infrastructure, man. You're right. And then more importantly, man, just the relationships. It's like G, I always tell G, man, you ready for the big platform. But it's a process. G know he's ready, but it's just a process. And the same thing with me. I know I'm ready, but I have to wait. I'm not gonna speak on it. And I know a lot of coaches always tell you, man, I know I'm ready, but there's more to it.
Yep.
Moving over 6 inches in that head coaching seat comes with a lot of responsibility. And guys think it's a cakewalk, but it's not. Because now you're responsible not only for the student athletes, but for your assistant coaches.
Yeah.
Because those guys have families also.
Their livelihoods in your hands.
Their livelihoods, man, and I always tell it, man, when I get my chance, I always want my assistant coaches to feel like brothers. I'm talking about, man, I want to go eat out with you. I want to know your family. I want you to know my family. I want us to feel comfortable enough where we could be family. I don't never want a guy to feel uncomfortable around me at all. I give you the shirt off my back. That's just me. But I want you to be honest with me. And that's how I roll. That's how I move. I'm not a big circle guy, but I'm cool with everybody. I respect everybody.
Right.
Man, if you call me and I got you, man, I got you. A guy knows when he's ready to be a head coach. G just put me on the spot. Man, we know that. Me and AJ have this talk, man, a lot. And he always tell me, man, you ready. Man, you've been ready. I'm watching you. But I always tell him, man, just the situation got to be the right situation. And I even say, to be assistant coach on the D1 level. I mean, I know I'm ready. But like I say, preparation got to meet opportunity. And that come with timing.
Yep.
That come with timing, man. But man, I love where I'm at. And I'll get my chance. Coach Williams will get his chance also. And I say that, man, I truly love where I'm at. Xavier's a special place. Just seeing kids like us succeed, bridging the gap, man. And I know, man, when I came up, I couldn't understand that, but now I understand. So I go back, signing Wayne Randall Bayshade from Nish. A kid ain't never really been on Xavier campus. Possibly, man, a Division I kid.
Yeah.
Having him sign with Xavier was big. So that's it.
And I asked that question, and it wasn't just for you particularly, just a lot of different guys that I'm friends with in the business. You got some that doubt themselves,
right?
And you got some that's overconfident,
right? And
thinking that they're ready to be a head coach. And so I just wanted you to touch on that because, like you say, when you 6 inches to the right and you in that head coaching spot, it's a little different. It's just a little different.
It's a little different. But G, I'm gonna tell you this, man. When you treat your assistant coaches or your staff like family, man, it's not even a job no more. It's not. Then you start seeing all type of success.
Yep.
Because it rubs off onto the coaches, to the players, to the managers, shoot, even to other programs.
Yeah.
Man, me and AJ, man, our relationship, it just rub off. And man, man, that's what it's about. That's what it's about, man.
But speaking on that, because you started out, your first coaching job was BRCC, right?
BRCC.
What was the ties with you and Coach AJ, how he got you to Xavier?
Man, we could talk for days. Man, I got stories. We had a kid named Eric Thomas. Called a lot of schools about him. And, everybody was kind of skeptic on him, say he was an in-between guy. He was 6'6", he was from Tampa, Florida. He was an inside out. I'm like, look, y'all, I'm telling you, this guy averaged 15 points, 12 rebounds. This guy could play. I seen him, kind of, man, just one man show, man, dismantle, Mississippi JUCOs. And I'm talking about high level players. And Coach Celeste took the chance, but Coach AJ can't recruit him. And I'm like, Coach, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if you could get him, but you could get him. And Coach was like, well, man, I want him. I'm like, Coach, I don't know. So make a long story short, they didn't get Eric. Eric wound up going to UNO, winning Conference Player of the Year, went to the tournament. Coach Les had a lot of success with Eric. And that was my assistant coach. And I, gave him the slash.
Right.
And AJ wound up leaving, taking a head job at Harry Stowe.
Yep.
So
in Missouri.
Me and Coach AJ had a brief stint. And Dan Jackson called my head coach named Eric Wilson. He's not an active head coach at Winston-Salem State right now. He just got active maybe like a month ago. And Dan was like, man, I love your assistant coach. Would he be open, to come interview for the assistant job here because AJ left. So I went there and he was like, hey, man, can you guarantee me a player? So I'm like, yeah, man, we could bring Seth Jackson on, coach. So we brought Seth there. So he wound up hiring me. And to make a long story short, Danton left, went to UAB my first year,
Yep.
and AJ came back. So that's how we wind up managing coaching together.
Damn, that's crazy how that all came back full circle.
Crazy
He
story,
trying to
man.
recruit a kid, couldn't get him. He take a job, then bring you on, and then he leave, and then AJ comes back to Xavier. That's crazy.
Come back to Xavier, man.
That's why you got to treat people right, and that's why you got to do things the right way.
Mhm.
Because just think if you would have handled that whole process wrong with Coach AJ, when he got the job, you'd be like, man, I don't want this dude as my assistant.
Man, you got to say that again in the camera.
Like, for real.
You got to do what to people?
You got to treat people the right way, dog.
Treat people like you want to be treated.
And that's
Exactly.
that's the biggest thing in this business. And like I said, man, it came back full circle. And you know, man, I'm gonna tell you a crazy story, man. It was AJ or Dante Jackson for the head coaching job at Xavier.
Didn't know that.
So Dante Jackson was at Stillman. Shout out to my guy Dante, man. Just seen him at the Mall Monday event.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ wound up getting the job. But let me tell you how God worked. A year later, Dante get hired by Grambling. So that job wasn't meant for Dante.
Right.
And now Dante here is Louisiana Coach of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the tournament.
Yep.
Man, success just blowing up. And so you see how, you know, what you saying, how you treat people right and they come back around and, you know, man, your success, man, you just got to keep doing right.
Yep.
Coach Gio Oriana, you know, for the UK women's coach, he was on a podcast and he said something, and it blew my mind because I never thought about it. And I just want to ask your opinion because you had success with AAU, but you also played with Europe. And he said one of the reasons why the European players are better and more equipped coming into the league than your college kid, your homegrown United States kids, is because in high school the kid, you know, he goes to AAU, he'll play AAU games, turn right around, play high school games, you know, do the whole circuit deal. He said in Europe they'll practice like a week, play one game.
Yep.
Practice, play one game. He said so they building the fundamentals. They working all the stuff they working at, and there's a lot of stuff that games can't, you know, you can't build on.
Right.
And I just want to, you know, like what's that perfect balance of you have to practice, but also this is the day and age, or like this is how you get recruited in doing. Especially if you had like a small school where you're not going to get a lot of shine or whatnot, but the AAU circuit is what blowing it up. But like how is a kid supposed to build their fundamentals the right way
With all those games. High school team camps, AAU games.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, man. You gonna make time for what you gonna make time for. You know, whenever we grew up, you know, I'm assuming we grew up in the same era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we worked hard night in and night out. You know, if AAU practice was over with, we going to work on our game at the local park.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you work hard like that, something good usually come out of that. And I know the kids are, you know, they getting a lot of wear and tear, you know, with all these games. But, you know, at some point in time, you got to work on your individual skill set. You got to take an hour out of your time, whether that's sacrificing getting up in the morning, which a lot of guys don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we did that.
Yep.
You know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, it only take you 2 hours to really work on your game individually, whether it's shooting, dribbling, or whatever. You know, it just take you, you know, just a little time. You know, then you could go about your day. But a lot of kids don't want to sacrifice 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, they want to work out, you know, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. But by that time, you know, you got AAU practice coming up.
Yep.
So now you're cutting into your individual time.
Yep.
So you got to make some kind of sacrifice. And I know the wear and tear, you know, it works on your body a lot, but you're young. You know, man, there was plenty of times that we played sports from 9 o'clock in the morning
to
to 8 o'clock at night.
The street light came on.
Yeah.
And you only ate a honey bun from the store.
They drunk the
Drinking out the
whole
whole spike.
So, you know, and I seen G, and I seen G, man, and I'm going to tell this to G, because I always watch. I seen G believe in a kid, the Lacey kid,
Mm-hmm.
and that always stuck by me. And I ain't never told you this because that's how I was similar. I heard stories about the Lacey kid.
Yep.
I don't know him. I'm just speaking on what And I say, what G sticking by him.
Yep.
And now look at him now. It just takes that person, to hold you accountable. Whether it's getting him up at 6 o'clock in the morning, G calling him, hey man, go run, man, or go run some routes. Man, my cousin is at LSU, Corey Raymond.
Okay, I ain't know. He is
Man,
from New Iberia.
Yeah, he is New Iberia. Yep.
That's my dude, man.
And
That dude.
yep, and it's just is man, and I man, I always attest to that, man. That, just believing in a kid and holding them accountable. Man, these kids out here kind of driving their own vehicle.
Yeah, man. Making their own decisions, running their house.
Running their house, man. So if you ain't waking the kid up at 6 o'clock in the morning and they want to work out when they want to work out, then they ain't gonna never be what they ain't gonna never get what they want to get.
But how do you? I guess, and I'm asking this, for the people that's watching this stuff from a basketball standpoint. How do you know what to work on that individually fits you? So, like, for instance, like if we out at if we at a football field or something like that, and we throw the ball and we see a kid naturally catches the ball over his shoulder and all that stuff. All right, well, this is the next progression to this. This is the next progression to that. We can see that, but then I just take your Northwest situation. You came out the womb knowing how to score. Scoring, you do that back, but now I need you to facilitate. Wait, hold on, I score. But understand, like as a coach now, it's like understanding the big picture. If you know how to score yourself, you should be able to set other people up to score. But they don't see that picture.
Well, it's a base, man. Everybody got to have a base. You got to be able to dribble, pass, and shoot. That's all the fundamentals. That's the 3 fundamentals of basketball. A lot of guys like to skip steps.
Yep.
A lot of guys like to do the James Harden step back and all this and that before they know how to dribble real well. So every day you got to work on ball handling, stationary, movement, left to right, crossover, quick, fast, wide, small, in and outs, shooting the ball. Man, the mid-range is a lost art now. It's a lost art. How many guys, and I always tell our guys, how many of you guys can make 5 pull-up jumpers going left and 5 pull-up jumpers going right in a row? Man, we had to practice that daily. You practice that before you shot a 3. It wasn't no shoot, no 3-pointer unless you practice your mid-range game.
Yep.
It wasn't no going for a layup if you ain't know how to jump off your right foot shooting with your left hand. So they taught you all that. Kids don't go over that now. So they don't have a base. So the progression of that is when I see a kid, or if I'm recruiting a kid, and the kid, could dribble the ball, the next step is, okay, what can he shoot? Do we have to work on his shooting? Can he pass? Does he have vision? All those things I check off. And to make football, to compare to football, if you have speed, you can play anywhere with football. So with basketball, if you can handle the ball, you can possibly play anything. You could do anything, because you got control of the game.
Yep.
You're a very good ball handler. So that's the analogy to that.
That's
Football,
perfect.
speed kills, basketball, ball handling really controls everything.
Yep.
And I never heard it placed like that before.
Now, today is the NBA draft. I know it's going on right now. The last 3 to 4 years, man, is changed, bro. This year's draft, 5 kids from overseas is projected to go in the top 10.
Yep.
2 of them supposed to go 1 and 2 from France.
Yep.
What's going on, man? Are we about to have a damn near Euro League in the NBA in a sense? That's where we going. Like the USA basketball players are about to start taking a backseat to these overseas guys.
Well,
what's going on?
You gotta understand, man. I hate speaking about this. Man.
Put it in the best way you can.
Man. okay, well, the NBA is the majority,
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah.
You don't have
The
to say it.
owners. Yeah.
and no offense, like I said,
No.
we just speaking real.
Right.
There's a lot of guys out there getting $80 to $200 million contracts. So you know how much changing with that?
Mm-hmm.
It's just my evaluation, right? I just got a kid, Tulu Smith, preseason SEC Player of the Year from Mississippi State. I recruited his brother. They got a draft party tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Should be drafted in the first round, late second.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he gonna get drafted tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about a guy that led the SEC in rebounds. SEC preseason Player of the Year. Now think about this, G. 5 years ago, you think that guy was getting drafted?
Yes, indeed. Because think about somebody like Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, I said no doubt.
Tristan Thompson wasn't no high level scorer, but I want to say he led the Big 12 in rebounding, and he was like second or third in the country in block shots. And he went lottery.
So now you got two guys from France playing in a French league, probably haven't been battle tested against the type of guys in the SEC,
Right.
the ACC, Power 5 schools. And they about to be the top 2 picks. 1 and 2. And you got to think about this, man. LeBron opened up a lot of doors and created a lot of avenues where guys are, man, look, man, they bridging the gap.
Mm-hmm.
And now, the NBA is a business.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to put my best way to put this.
And so I was talking to Greg Monroe about this. My guy Greg Monroe, who played in the league 8-9 years, something like that.
Real well.
Me and Greg was talking. He was like, bro, what Valanciunas doing for the Pels, I could do that right now.
Right now.
But he's from overseas, so the owners are going to value the overseas players over somebody like me. He's like, bro, I could do the same thing. And I thought about him like, dog, you really could do what Valanciunas doing.
And there's no knock to Valanciunas.
No knock to him. Not saying he shouldn't be in the NBA.
Yeah, no knock.
Just saying that Greg should have the same opportunity.
You got the same skill set.
Same skill set.
So the NBA is employing, guys who they want to employ.
Mm-hmm.
And where they trying to grow.
And where they trying to grow. And right.
But is that good necessarily for the future of the game and for
I got you.
It's not good domestic.
You're right. No, you're right. That's the right word.
It's not good domestic. It goes back to think about the question I asked Coach with about the Gino Oriana comment. Like, hey, they mindset, hey, these guys are fundamentally better than what's grown in the States. The only the one up that the States got over there, we way more athletic than them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, basketball is beautiful, man, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Jokic comes from Serbia. I had a lot of Serbian teammates.
Mm-hmm.
They basketball breaded. They tough. They play hard. I'm talking
high IQ.
High IQ. Some of my closest friends that I still talk to today, Serbian guys, they could play, but they play the right way, and at some point you need that.
Yeah.
Right? Jokic is top 5 player in the league.
Yep.
Easy. But everybody know the way how Jokic play don't sell tickets all the time. So the guys that were selling tickets was Vince Carter, Zion, Sean Kemp, Tracy McGrady, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, LeBron James,
The Flash,
D-Wade, Shaq. So now you got to ask yourself, like, why are we going away from that? Do we want the NBA to be, how it was back in the days? Or do we want the league to keep getting better with the oohs and ahs? Because, people was more intrigued with Jalen Jalen Brown.
Mm-hmm.
People was more intrigued with Jalen Brown offense and defense, but there was more intrigue of how he was dunking on Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Luka dunking on him, stealing the ball, yelling in his face. You know, man, Europeans don't do that.
Right.
Luka Doncic is one of the best Europeans ever. You saw what happened in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what sold tickets? Jalen Brown. You know what sold tickets. So the NBA is a big business, man, and they trying to captivate on the European guys
They're trying to get that money worldwide.
And they gonna have a EuroLeague team in the NBA soon.
I think so too. I think it's coming.
This is my take on it. I think back to when I can't even think of her name, when she told LeBron to shut up and just dribble the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And like the whole
That was Hillary Clinton, no?
No, one of the reporters. I think she was on
she was like CNN or something like that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're right.
One of those deals. And for like a good 3-4 years after that, it was, man, LeBron has led this generation of athletes in the NBA to where they have the power. Well, you never heard of you don't hear Luka being that way. You don't hear Jokic being that way. You don't hear, I know Wemby just got in the league, but even go back to, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kukoc, they just played just started. They just excelled in their role. They hushed their mouth and kept going.
You didn't see them really speak on too many worldwide topics.
And I
well,
think
you know why,
this
right?
is their way to try to get power back from us, if you catch what I'm saying, and balance it back out to where the good boys, quote unquote, feel happy.
Well, that's true, but nobody never had to fight the fight LeBron had to fight.
No.
And every now and then, every 20 years, they say that you'll get this special leader. Man, LeBron is a special leader.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Michael Jordan's still my GOAT.
No doubt.
But LeBron James is a special leader. So you got your special leaders that come along every 20 years. And he kind of wake you up. Hey, man, why you doing this? Go get him. Mm-hmm. Go get Rich Paul. He could do the same thing he doing.
Mm-hmm.
Those leaders are special. So now you got guys that if they had a certain agent, they wouldn't be getting no $60 million.
Right.
They'd be getting $30 million for 4 years. LeBron, he know the ins and outs. No, you got to give him 60. And that's what's bridging the gap with we got more millionaires now.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they work out or not. Whether the guys stay 3 years with their rookie deal or 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now you bring these Europeans in. Again, none of those Europeans went through what LeBron had to go through.
Nope.
Now, some of them can say, oh, man, we from the Soviet Union, and they broke it up, with the Soviet Union war. And everybody, they went through some tough days with wars and stuff like that. But as a young black man, I think we go through war every day.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yep. Especially in our neighborhood.
So they don't understand what LeBron been through and how he's trying to wake his people up, should I say. And I hate speaking on this topic because
it's a touchy subject.
It's a touchy subject, and it's not my mindset.
Right.
I believe in, man, equality, all around the board. And I wish everybody in the world could think like that. Mm-hmm. But, that's not the case. And that's why we're dealing with what you're speaking about.
Yeah.
Now, they good players.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell me Tulu Smith, not no late first round. I mean, I'm not a GM, but I know leading the SEC in rebounds.
Got to stand for something.
I don't know if so preseason player of the year.
I think about AD. How AD had that run. He wasn't. People forget that he wasn't the guy on that team.
Only averaged 12 points a game.
So it was Michael Kidd, Gilchrist, Eric Bledsoe, Pondanese.
That was talent.
You know what I'm saying? They was loaded. And then But
They was
look
like a
who's still
modern
standing.
day. They was like a modern day UNLV.
You know what I'm saying? And look who the one that's still standing, but like he wasn't the one. And it was like had they would have been the ACC, like 'cause the ACC still at the time was still a better league, but still the physicality that the SEC played with.
That's the NBA.
You know what I'm saying? And to be that small and all that stuff, and you had to, and his size made him play in the post. That's why he was able to.
Well, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. You know, the Ant-Man played at Georgia.
Yeah. No, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't see this.
No, but I'm saying, you know, like the level of play in the SEC. And you go back, what's the guy named from Duke that played for the Mavs?
Lively.
Man, that dude, I ain't even really know about the guy.
Yeah, Derek Lively. Yep.
Dookie, baby. I'm a Dookie.
That guy came in there and under Tyson Chandler.
They brought Tyson Chandler in there to mold him. Him
Blew
and
up.
Gofford.
And he barely played at Duke, right?
He played, but he wasn't.
He was the 7 man in the rotation.
Yeah, he played, but he wasn't.
But you see what
He
I'm
wasn't the guy for sure.
Because he couldn't shoot. Because they had Kyle.
He just like Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, pretty much.
He just like Tyson Chandler.
And he gave Al Horford, who's probably gonna be a Hall of Fame. You know, he gave him a run for his money.
You think Al Horford will be Hall of Fame?
Yeah, definitely.
No fresh legs.
Just by his character, man. His character in the league, team guy, something like a Shane Battier.
Yep.
You know, Al Horford is a winner.
Jalen Brown. Jason Tatum said that's his favorite teammate all time.
I wouldn't think Hall of Fame when you think of Al Horford.
Yeah.
Well,
he got to go back to his Hawks days.
No, I'm trying. I get it. Like I know, like you know, loan.
I don't know if you noticed though, but Al Horford made a lot of money in the NBA.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Hey,
you know,
his college teammate, Joe Kim Noah.
yeah, but I think he made more money than all of them on that team.
Yeah, Brewer, because Brewer the assistant coach for the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even the most athletic.
Skilled.
Al Horford was just. I'm talking about he got a couple $100 million.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he got paid when he was with the Hawks.
The Hawks, yeah.
So, you know, you talking about a guy like that, you know, under the radar, won a championship, team guy, you know, they go do everything in their power to get him in there probably.
So, people like Rico Hines, John Lucas, Boo Williams, these guys have a big influence on the young phenoms that's coming up. And that's supposed to be ordained as the next, you know, lottery picks and NBA players that's coming up in the future. What do you think they need to do to make sure that our USA players get back control of what we are on top of having 8 USA players that's going top 10 in the draft versus 8 European players going top 10 in the draft? What you think? Because they have a lot of influence on the youth coming up. What you think they need to do?
Yeah, John
To
Lucas.
keep back control of this.
John Lucas definitely have a lot of influence. Let me tell you, man, that's a real subject. I think it gonna come out vocally soon. John Lucas gonna speak on this year's draft. They say this year's draft is probably the worst drafts. But John Lucas gonna speak out on it because he's a guy that, you know, that
Get around them kids.
Right,
Rico
man.
Hines, Boo Williams. Yeah.
And he up front. And he go tell the truth and they respect his mind. I just think, man, you know, they gotta come together. You know, we could talk about, you know, the Europeans all day long, but like you say, if the leaders ain't talking about it, which I think it will come out soon, right after the draft.
Yep.
If not this one, the next one. You know, if they continue having Europeans, you know, lottery picks and they don't work out, then it will become a touchy subject.
But when you got people like Luka, Porzingis, Rudy Gobert, you know, I could go on and on about these overseas players that's making a mark in the league, and everybody trying to find the next one of them.
But see, for every one of those you could think of, I could think of a Darko Milicic.
Yeah.
I could think of
you're
the
right.
kid from France.
But they gonna hang their hat on the ones that did work out. Dirk
Michael
Nowitzki.
Christian. Yeah.
Like, they gonna hang their hat on the ones they can hang their hat on.
See, but the thing is, it's a difference. The ones that they like, Luka might be the highest drafted one out of everybody you just named. Jokic second round. Dirk late first round. You know,
Rudy Gobert, I don't know where he went.
He might have been like, you know, like late second round. Like none of the top tier were like lottery picks.
Mhm.
So like it's like that's for me, like the lottery pick ain't where you find the value unless, you know, the Lucas and all that stuff in the overseas. That late, you talk about like that 17 on back second round. I think that's where you get the steal for your money. Cause they like Pager second round. Hedo Turkoglu was like
Yeah,
was like a
yeah,
late first, like
yeah.
was that 17
Ginobili.
yeah, like 17.
Tony Parker.
You know, like they all in that realm.
Yeah.
So
What the GMs understood back then, that it wasn't a big risk. So
Right.
they was taking those
Because you
guys.
can hide them for a couple of years.
They were taking those
That's
guys
true.
second round, late first round. But when you talk about a lottery pick, you talking about a franchise player.
Yep.
You know, and that's why Darko Milicic didn't really work out. I had a teammate that was best friends with Darko Milicic when I played overseas, and he said he couldn't really. He loved it, but it was too much pressure.
Mhm.
And you know,
And they took him over Carmelo.
yes, and I think they're not used to that. You know, I don't know about now, but back then, you know, that was a different ball game for them. You know, coming in and being a face of a $1 billion team.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of pressure.
that's crazy how I just think about, because like me and G the same age. I think like you like just a little bit older than us. Man, when we was watching the NBA growing up as kids, Vlade Divac,
It's a
Pager,
bonus. It's a bonus.
Sabonis,
Deadlift Shrimp,
Detlef Shrimp. That was
Tony
it.
Kukoc.
Tony, like that was it for until like the Spurs had that magical team, and like they started, you know, like you see, like they had like 7 like overseas players on that team, and now it's like I can't name a team
That don't have an overseas player.
that and like in multiple where like it might be a 50, like you look at the roster, it might be like 50-50.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you an example too. Back to college, you know, some of my teammates coach kids now. You know, my former teammates in Europe, and they send me videos all day, 6'9" shooters, and I'm like, man, they ain't gonna make it here because, you know, we play up and down. You know, they got a guard too.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a different style of play. So it's like a gamble. You know,
Could y'all recruit a kid from overseas?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No, like how hard you think would that be? Like to get him, like to get that 6'9", that same kid you talk about, 6'9" shooter, get him in your program as a freshman. That could be a potential.
Well, as the level goes up, you know, you get these elite players, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a kid named Ahmed Koulibaly. All right, he was from France, Paris. He was 6'9", could shoot the ball, man. Played with his back to the basket. Great kid. Came to Xavier, man. He struggled. He struggled with athleticism. I'm talking about he had footwork out this world. Could shoot the ball, pick and pop, and every time we'll give him good minutes, he just couldn't. You know, he couldn't defend, and he had trouble with athletic guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, man, how can we keep him in the game? How can we hide him? Can we go zone?
Mm-hmm.
You know, do we always trap the ball screen with him? Kind of get. So you know, it was always like a scheme, you know, for him to be better, which is, you know, coach's job to do. But you know, you talking about the NBA. I'm just going on a bigger scale. You know, or you go to high level college guys. I don't know if I can name 5 Europeans off the top of my head, you know, a Power 5 school that's really dominating.
Right.
I can't. So I don't think they sending their guys to Power 5 universities no more. They just tell them to stay in these pro leagues
Mm-hmm.
and you will get drafted off your potential.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go to college, they gonna expose you.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're starting to see a shortage of high level European college players. Because they started coming at one time. You started seeing some guys. But then it kind of dwindled down. And they told him, hey, just stay over here, you know, kill in your league, and then maybe you get drafted off your potential.
I'm gonna tell you something else that happened. I remember talking to Rick Pitino on the Under Armour circuit a few years ago, and I think this is like when he first got the St. John job.
Mhm.
And I was talking to him about, because you know he was known for going to get kids from Senegal
Mhm.
over there, and I was just very curious to know, like, man, how you was able to go get these kids from Senegal and Africa and stuff like that, like the Juan Palacios and the Gorgie Jeans of the world and the Francisco Garcias, and
Yeah.
you know he was known for going to get these overseas guys. I was like, how were you able to do that? He said, man, he was able to build a relationship with guys overseas way back when he was coaching with the Knicks. And he said,
Like the professional players or like the
no, I'm saying like he was finding these kids like when they was like 50, you know, overseas they be in the pro league at 16.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he like the for next. I was trying to see where he made the connection from. Like
When he told me when he was coaching with the Knicks, he started building a relationship with a lot of people overseas. And back then, if you go back and if they pull up some clips right now of the draft in '97, and what's the guy, Jay Billis, and I forgot the other guy that does the draft analyst, but they would always ask them. They'll have like, if you remember, like they'll have like maybe like 1 or 2 clips.
yeah,
Some of them they ain't have no clips back then in the '90s.
they just had a picture of them.
They have a picture of them. They might have had 1 or 2 clips, if that, and they had a picture of them. And they'll ask them like, "What you know about this kid?" I don't know. This guy I talked to that's over there, he says he can shoot, he can do that. It was always he say, she say. Well, now everybody just going over there. People just got access now to get over there and go really watch these kids. And so that's why I think you're seeing more people vouching about the, you know, then social media. That then played a big dynamic into this, because now they just posting them, and now you can watch clips and streams of these kids overseas, and so now you've been having more access to seeing what they could do now, and I think that's played a big part into why these overseas guys are getting more exposure and why they getting drafted. I think this might be the first time in history that 2 guys went 1 and 2.
Yeah,
overseas.
I can't think of.
And look, man, I was playing in Romania, man. So we played a team from Hungary. I was on a Euro Challenge team. So we would go play different teams in different countries. And they had a guy named Adam Hunger. Man, he was Hungarian, but he was mixed. He was black and white. And we playing him. The team we played for, I think, was Schausnaut. It was like a Euro Challenge, Euro Cup team. And I keep hearing people saying, man, this guy going to the NBA. I'm like, who? You know, it's like him. I'm like, him? I'm like, no way. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, the guy got some game. He was on the national team. He had a good, you know how they do like the European games? You know, he had a good showing in that. And man, that year, I forgot what year it was, but you could Google it. He got drafted by the San Antonio Spurs in the 2nd round. And I was like, what? But that go to show you, like you was going by with video and film and GMs or scouts coming across seas and see these guys, and, you know, they tell those guys, don't go to college there. Stay here. They go draft you off this league. You will be more comfortable here. You go average way more points. You will get paid, and they go draft you off your potential.
Yep.
I got a question for the panel. Since it's draft night and all this stuff, what lottery pick that you was most disappointed in that their NBA career didn't turn out like you thought it would? Because I know
just from the past.
Like from the past. So mine's is Jonathan Bender.
Oh, that's a good one.
I thought because they put him like, you know, he was coming in. The Pacers had just got Jermaine O'Neal, and like I was like, man, this kid was in high school. I was like, man, he about to cut up.
There were a lot of injuries in the NBA too. I know one of mine's that one of my favorite players of all time, TJ Ford. Got the spinal cord injury.
Yeah,
I wore number 11 in high school because of TJ Ford. You know, him and Dan Ewing was teammates in Houston. They lost 2 games in 4 years. Yeah, 4 state championships, bro.
Yeah, it was good.
It was incredible. I followed him all the way from high school. I was like a
TJ Ford.
I was a serious like high school fanatic, like just following all the top people in the country. And he was small, so I gravitated toward it. I couldn't jump like that, but I followed him all the way to Texas, and I think he got picked. The Bucks picked him at 11.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, and had a good rookie year, had a good couple years, and then he had the spinal cord. I think he was going up for a rebound or whatever happened on a fast break or something, and he fell down on his back, and they had to carry him off on a stretcher.
Yeah.
And then he came back and played with the Raptors, but he just wasn't the same. I thought TJ Ford was going to be a Hall of Fame point guard.
Right.
I thought he had that kind of talent, IQ, competitor, athleticism.
Isaiah Thomas type.
And so that's probably my. If I had to say my most disappointing lottery pick, it'd probably be TJ Ford.
I think mine would be Penny Hardaway.
He had a good 5-year run.
I mean, I know, but injuries. But Penny Hardaway was like, man,
you never seen nothing like that.
I was a Penny dude. I'm out of my game after Penny. Man, I had a haircut like Penny.
Yeah,
I had all the pennies. Look, man, I was a Penny dude. Still to the day when he came to Xavier 2 years ago. Like, I met him, like, man, we talking for the first time. And we were just talking, man, and I'm like, man, you don't even know the impact you had on kids. Penny Hardaway. And if it wasn't for injuries, I know that, but early in his career, I just thought he was going to do a lot more.
Yeah.
Even though he did a lot, I just knew that they wasn't going to get swept by Houston.
Right.
I don't know. To me, I just think Penny was on a level with Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
He
was definitely on his way.
So, man, for me, every time you be on these Twitter and you see these clippings of highlights and all this, man, when I see Penny highlights, man, with the little Penny, man, it's like I want to drop a tip, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't know nothing about Penny Hardaway coming out of college.
Man.
I didn't know nothing about it, man. I'm telling you, I used to watch college basketball hard. I didn't know nothing about Penny Hardaway.
But then I started going to his background. So, Penny was a street dude. I mean, he wasn't no troublemaker. But Penny got shot. He got shot in the foot and all. I'm like, man, this could be me.
Right. I can relate to this.
So I'm like, man, Penny Hardaway was like, man, nobody couldn't tell me no wrong. About Penny Hardaway.
I remember we did. G had invited us to help him work the Super 60, and Team Dez.
Thad?
Oh no, Team Dez.
Dez, right? Dez. That's his partner that died.
Out of Memphis. They came and they had a kid that did real good, and man, he talked the coach, man, he just sat there and talked about Penny and like this Penny is coming back and he's doing all this type of stuff, and you could just see all the kids yeah Penny, but it was man, you don't even know how good the guy was. Man.
Yes.
Because Shaq is my favorite NBA player of all time.
Right.
So hit him with the boom boom, baby. And I just I just knew that Magic team was gonna get one.
Yeah, man.
I just knew they were gonna get one.
But it's just like Shaq told Jaylen Brown. They got caught up with who team it was.
Right.
And he was worrying about Penny was getting all the commercials, and at that time, bro,
Penny had a shoe.
Penny had a shoe. Shaq signed with Reebok. Yeah. He talked about how his agent made a mistake doing that. And so, they was young and dumb. I do want to ask you this, man, before we get into Coach Mitch's favorites.
Okay.
Man, what's the talk about? What's the pros and cons of going to play overseas, man? Because I think a lot of kids,
good question,
they are reluctant to go play overseas. Matter of fact, I've been trying to get AJ Rainey over there, man.
Oh man,
he refused to go get his passport. I hope he watched this.
Yeah, well, AJ Rainey, man.
So
I know AJ.
So what he doing?
Just working at home, bro. Just working at home and playing in these little dog leagues and killing everybody.
Yeah. I know AJ Rainey, man. Actually, I met G the same day I met AJ Rainey. AJ Rainey was a year behind Rayshawn Mort.
Yep.
I know his dad. I know his brother.
Yep.
Great kid. I wanted him at Xavier. But this overseas thing, man, is first off, I'm gonna say, man, you gotta be humble. For whatever you get, you gotta build. So I'm gonna go back to college and I'm gonna talk on this. When I was at BRCC, I only made $120 every 2 weeks.
Lord.
But I was fresh off playing in Europe. So I didn't have no pride. I still don't have pride. You know, if coaching don't work out, man, I'll go drive a tractor. You know, I'll start a lawn service. You know, I'll come help y'all. But it's just the passion. But man, overseas thing, I think a lot of guys get caught up because now it's different. So when I played, you'll probably get your first contract. Man, when I played, I can't speak for everybody else. Your first contract probably be like $5,000. You'll probably have bonuses. You have your own apartment. You have a car. You have meals through sponsors, at restaurants. And, a lot of people, maybe to the guys that sat on his couch, before me, $5,000, they wouldn't move for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I moved for it because I know it was life-changing. I took that money and helped my mama buy her first house. So that wasn't much to a lot of people, but it was a lot to me. And Randy and them got to understand, when you go overseas and you're doing something you love, the money go take care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So if Randy going over there, coming from an NEI school, whatever he gets, I hope he get 5,000 or whatever. He may get 2,000. You got to take that and you got to build off that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go up there, put the numbers up, and just build off it. Same thing I told Rayshawn Mort. Don't look at the money because you're doing something you love. As long as you're getting paid, it going to get better eventually. Just like a job.
Yep.
You do your job good, eventually you're going to get promoted.
Keep elevating.
So you got to go into there with that mindset. If you think you're going in there thinking you're going to get, man, 100,000 in.
And that's the stories they hear. They hear, man, they over there making $120,000 tax-free. I'm like, bro, whoever telling y'all that,
no,
that's for guys that.
No, I'm going to say that Mac the Youngest said, that's cap.
Yeah, bro. That be
cap.
some BS, dog. I'll be like, bro, I don't know who telling y'all them stories. That's for kids that's probably was National Player of the Year at Duke. And they probably going overseas making that kind of money starting off. Like somebody that's leaving the NBA, going to overseas.
Two people that we know that I know real good, Jason Williams and Lawrence Gilbert, won championships overseas.
Yeah, Jason Williams was in Israel when I was out there.
You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't
went to UTEP, huh?
Yeah,
went to UTEP. That's Curran Forge's cousin.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Didn't get to that level until like he was over there. Let's see, Jason is 3 years older than me. He didn't get to that level.
Maybe to like his 4th, 5th year.
Easily. So to think that you getting that off top.
Yep. Yeah, man. And I'm going to tell you, man, the only guy I know in New Orleans that could really say that is Bo McCall.
Yep.
And that's a guy I think, man, you should. I don't know if you brought him on the show.
Yeah, Bo's on him.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my dude, man. That's my dude, man. Great guy. Bo is the only guy in New Orleans, EuroLeague. To me, man, he the best EuroLeague player to come out of the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to all the great guys like the great players like Randy Livingston, household names. But I just know Bo because I was out there and I used to watch him on TV.
Yep.
And one time he got the EuroLeague point guard player of the year. You know how hard that was?
Yeah.
So he got that over guys like Rubio.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the guy that's in Russia that went to the NBA with the Clippers for a little while.
Yeah, he talked about him on the show. I forgot his name. Not Fernandez, huh?
No, Rudy played for Spain.
Not Rudy.
Rudy played for Spain.
But he played against all those guys and he held his own.
Yep.
And you talking about a guy that couldn't hit a jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
5'10", 5'11", playing against Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And he the only guy I know financially. I don't speak on nobody financially, but I know for a fact he made some real good money.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how did you get over the language barrier? I know they got translate over that.
Oh man,
and that's just something that's just one obstacle. Like kids be bringing up, man, I don't know how I'm gonna operate over there, man, and I can't speak their language. And
again, man, coming from a small school like Northwestern, you're not exposed to a lot. So when I got the call and I got the contract, I arrived to the airport in Bucharest, which is the capital of Romania. Man, a guy was up with my name on a piece of paper, and I'm like, man, I felt special.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, ain't never happened to me before.
Right. I'm from New Iberia.
So they picked me up in a BMW X5 at the time. I'm like, man. So at the time, my team owner I played for Ramgas, team that was in Medias. It was the oldest city in Romania. It was in central Romania. My owner owned 85% of the gas of the
Damn.
whole country.
Yeah, money.
And the country was 20 million people. So when they came pick me up, everything was good. And I'll never forget this, G. When they came pick me up, they brought me to a hotel. And they was like, we will come get you in the morning, but you can eat breakfast here, blah, blah, blah. Everything is taken care of. Nice hotel. So I look out the window, man, the next morning, first time out the country. I'm like, oh, man, they have a store. Plus, they gave me like $500 in their money. Like, take this, that's yours, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go across the street. So I go to the store because I'm seeing these people carry a loaf of bread like a football. like bread.
Right.
I never seen that before.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I want to go across there. I want to interact with the community. And when I went across there, the lady looked at me and did this. Man, she walked up to me, an older lady, and did this, rubbed my face and rubbed her hand. And I was like, man, what that's about? So, the younger generation, she was speaking in Romanian.
Right.
And I didn't understand, but the younger generation had kids there, and I asked them what she said. And she said, like, she never seen an African-American man in her life. So that was a culture shock, first of all.
Right.
Whenever, as time passed, the language barrier, I started understanding certain words. And believe it or not, man, it's kind of like Latin language. Belarus, I never got used to that. Hungarian, I never got used to that. That's different languages. It's really hard. Where else, man? Bulgaria. That's like hard languages, But the Romanian language was kind of like a Spanish language. So I understood it, a little bit. But it was hard on first, man, because I couldn't, I was scared to drive because they drive real reckless. I was kind of scared to eat the food because it wasn't the same.
The cuisine.
I just stuck with, with chicken and potatoes, steak and potatoes, beef and potato. Kept it basic. And but for the most part, man, I started to get it, man. I actually met Terrence Howard out there, man, at the airport.
Come on,
man.
Crazy,
the actor?
Yeah, the actor.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Crazy story, man. And the biggest thing about that, man, was the biggest myth was the Dracula Castle. We wound up going to Dracula's castle. And I was like, man, believe it or not, man, the guy was like a like a little person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say that, but he was like a little person. And he was like a Robin Hood. So that was big for me because, growing up in the States, they tell us Dracula is real.
Right.
He grabbed people, drank their blood and all this.
Impaled them with the snake.
Yeah, so out there they laughing at me.
Right.
They was like, man, you believe in Santa Claus too. So I'm like, okay, man. But that was it, man. The language barrier was wasn't that hard, man. I was driving everywhere, getting around with stores. And, if I didn't understand something, I just point at it, and that was it.
Now we got to get into Coach Mitch's favorites. Here we go. Favorite hoop all time, no matter what level.
That I played against?
No, just like your favorite hoop all time. No matter
Michael
what level.
Jordan, man. Michael Jordan. Of course, Michael Jordan.
Favorite sneaker all time.
Man, I'm a sneaker guy too, man.
I'll be seeing, I'll be peeping your sneakers. I'll be peeping.
Oh, man. Favorite sneaker of all time. I'm going to bring it back. My favorite sneaker of all time is the Bo Jacksons.
I ain't have the Bo Jacksons.
Okay.
I had the Barry Sanders, but I ain't had the Bo Jacksons.
And you know what? I'm going to go two of them. Barry Sanders was nice too.
Yeah, I had the Barry Sanders.
Bo Jacksons and Bruce Smiths.
I ain't have them either. I ain't know Bruce Smith had a shoe.
Ooh, you got to Google the Bruce Smiths.
I got to Google it.
Yeah, that was the...
Talking about the DN for Buffalo.
Yeah, that was the ones, man.
I got to Google it. All right. Favorite rapper all time, no matter what era.
Oh, man, I'm a Wayne guy, but I got to go with Scarface.
Ooh, that's a classic right there.
I got to go with Scarface. I was raised on Scarface.
Substance right there, a lot of substance.
Yeah, my daddy loves Scarface.
Okay. Favorite comedian all time.
Chris Tucker.
It
took you. What episode? What episode we on?
That's my first.
It's like episode 60. It took you. It took you to episode 60.
One person to say Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker, man.
That's
Chris
a
Tucker.
goal right there. I told you, man.
Chris Tucker, man.
Hey, I didn't say nothing wrong with it.
You hate on Chris Tucker.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I don't like his funny.
You don't like it funny?
It just I don't like.
Y'all lucky he went Muslim.
I don't like the little screech at the man. Like that.
Funny.
Well, you know they making the last Friday, so you go enjoy him on this one.
Is he still Muslim? So he ain't gonna be the same.
He just ain't gonna curse.
That's all. Bernie Mac, baby. That's that.
Favorite place to visit?
Other than New Iberia, home, Napa Valley.
Okay.
I've never been to Napa Valley. California?
Wine country.
I've never been to Napa Valley. A lot of money out there.
Man, great place, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, great place.
A lot of money out there.
Great place. G, if you whenever you have time, you have some friends,
Napa Valley?
yeah, man, you gonna enjoy it. You
Nice
gonna
little
enjoy
duck
it.
off. Nice
You gonna enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, you gonna change. You gonna change the game down.
Favorite coach of all time that made the most impact on you?
Oh man,
Spotlight.
man, we got to cut the L on this one. Gee, man, it's too many. Man, how I grew up, man, it took a village, man, to get me here, man. I'm gonna just give all of them their flowers. Man, Dave Thibodeau, who everybody knows from LSU, everybody know Dave Thibodeau. And God rest his soul. Nolan Hamilton, Christopher Poulard, Scotty Borrell, Russell Minard, Glenn Fondal, Sean Jones, Mike McConaughey at Northwestern State, all-time winningest coach in Louisiana history. Men's side. I got to give, Mark Schlesinger, I got to give him a shout-out, man. Dave Simmons, who's the head coach at McNeese. He was my assistant coach at Northwestern before he was the head coach at McNeese. I'm going to give it to my little league coach, man, Ricky Chapman.
Come on, man.
When I was 7 years old, man, Ricky Chapman.
Put the ball in your hand?
Put the ball in my hand. If you see this, man, I can't forget about, I don't forget about nobody.
Bro.
I'm a family dude, man. I got it on my own.
Gotcha. Toughest player you ever went against that, like, when you got home, you was like, God damn, that motherfucker was tough to stay in front tonight.
Gee, I want you to ask people that's in my era. If you ever talk to Corey Webster, if you ever talk to Byron Mouton, if you ever talk to Brad Boyd,
you saying some names right now, boy.
if you ever talk to Michael Clayton, Marcus Spears, I go on and on. Clarence Moore, all those guys in my era. They had a guy named Cody Gabriel. I don't know if you heard of him.
I never heard of Cody Gabriel.
He was from Rain, Louisiana.
That's like Round Lake Charles, huh?
Round Lake Charles. You can ask anybody from New Orleans around that area. I'm just being real. They might not be. I'm just telling you what it is.
Right.
Because a lot of people made it to the league, or so they might say, truth be told, Cody Gabriel, man, I want to look in the camera. God rest his soul, he just passed away 2 years ago. Was the best guy I ever played against. Committed to Villanova out of Rain, Louisiana. Can I share this story with you?
Yep.
Cody Gabriel went to Rain, Louisiana, went to Rain High, played AAU, went to the Boo Williams tournament. Now, I don't want to say no names, but this guy was a top draft pick, went to Duke.
Chris Duhon.
They told me, no, Chris Duhon wouldn't even. No, ain't no disrespect to Chris, but Chris know him also. Chris know him also. This guy went to Duke, was a top draft pick, and he on TV today. We ain't gonna say no names. I heard Cody had 30 on him in the Boo Williams tournament. That's what I heard. Now, I don't know how true it is, but I believe it.
Because of what you saw.
What I saw. He was Mr. Biddy. In AAU, he was demolishing everybody in the state. I don't care who you are. If you ain't heard of Cody Gabriel, you ain't telling the truth. He was 5'10". Left Rain, Louisiana. Mr. Ross Suez took him in at Saul Lafourche. Now listen to me, this how good he was. Went there, but they was gonna win a state championship easily. It wouldn't even know. Wouldn't even know. Average like 30 at Rain, 30 every year. I don't know. Went there, did some misconduct stuff. Took a bus back to Rain, and Mr. Ross was like, "Don't worry about it." Got him out of that. Went to Oklahoma to a prep school. Man, they was trying to save this guy. This guy was special. Man, I wish I had highlights of this dude. This dude was special. Left Oklahoma. They didn't even make it there.
Damn.
It was unheard of for a kid to go to Villanova from Louisiana.
For real.
Other than Kerry Kittles. And this guy was 5'10", 5'11". Went back to Rain, Louisiana. Got in some trouble. Some big trouble. Wound up going to jail. Got out. Started being in the streets. And, the story kind of writes itself. Passed away maybe a year or two ago. But that might be the best guy. And I played against some dudes. I played against some guys, NBA guys through college, all this. I played against some guys. Cody Gabriel was the hardest dude I had to play against. And if he would have went to college, man, he would have been All-American. I guarantee you that.
Damn.
I seen him, man, look, I don't know who could attest to this because we on TV, but I didn't see this guy demolish everybody in Louisiana. From highs to lows. I don't want to say no names because people start,
Yeah.
I don't want to say no names. I'm going to just say Cody Gabriel. And, unfortunately, he couldn't reach that peak.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But that's the hardest guy, best guy, most talented guy, could do everything. You know the Iverson move when he came out? I seen him do the Iverson move before anybody knew about it in Slidell. And then dunked on somebody. And this dude was 5'11". This dude used to have a following before social media. If social media was in, man, you had 1 million views on everything.
I'm about to do my research on Cody Gabriel.
Man, do you know Blaine Holman? Played at UL. You know the Mouton brothers?
Yeah.
That won a national championship at Maryland?
Yeah.
Call it. One of the best kept secrets in New Iberia, in Louisiana.
And from Rain.
From Rain, Louisiana, Cody Gabriel. I guarantee you that.
I'm gonna definitely do my research on that.
Best guy I ever played against.
Yeah. Man, this was a good podcast, bro. I appreciate you taking the time out your busy schedule, man, to come on here, man, and fellowship with us and tell your story. I think it was very, very insightful, and I think a lot of people that would watch it, kids, coaches, parents, whatever, they gonna get a lot from it, dog. I appreciate our relationship over the years, man. I know you're doing your thing. You and Coach AJ keep elevating, dog, and I know your time is definitely coming, man. We're gonna speak that into existence.
Man, I appreciate that, man. And I just want to tell all the coaches, man, around the state, man, that's working hard, man. Keep working hard. Keep your head down. Man, wish everybody the best of luck on this season, man. I know this stuff is hard.
For real. It's a grind.
Yeah, man, it's a grind, man. Man, blessings to you guys, man. I want to see this blow up bigger than what it is. Because it's on its way.
Yep.
You got the right guys talking, the right guys interviewing guys, man, taking time to interview guys like me.
Yep.
It's not just about the head coaches. Y'all taking time to get to know guys that's really behind the scenes.
Yep.
Putting them on special platforms. And man, I appreciate y'all, man. And man, I'm a big supporter, bro.
You got to promise us you're gonna come back though, man.
I'm gonna come back, man. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back, man. I'm gonna come back. And I really want to come back, man, with somebody else because I really want to, I want y'all to ask them coaching things so we can kind of build off each other.
Definitely, bro.
And I think the biggest word for today from this episode has to be relationships.
Yep.
Treat people how you want to be treated. Accept your role in that relationship that you have with that person and cherish it, because how you got hooked up with Coach AJ. If you was anything but yourself, it would have went left.
Yep.
Meeting Coach AJ, knowing the type of person he is, like it makes sense now why Xavier basketball is so
much
successful.
Yep.
Y'all, first of all, y'all keep God first. You're like, without that,
right.
You can't go nowhere. 2, y'all don't mind speaking up for the little guy. and staying who you are. That was the hardest thing I had to learn as a coach. And like I don't think people understand that coaching is coaching no matter how high you go up, how low you are. If you do it for the kids, nothing else will fail.
Right.
If you do it for the kids, nothing else will fail. And I'm happy to know you now. Wish y'all all the luck in the world, and prayers for y'all getting that first national.
For real, we're gonna speak it to existence, man.
Xavier.
Man.
I just see y'all doing big things. I love to see our own establish and stand firm and be unapologetically their own in their environment. And it does good for a young black coach like me to see other people that came from my scenarios. Like, I'm from here. I'm from Marrero. The same story you can tell. We can tell. We had my cousin on last week. You know, he made it to the top. You know what I'm saying? Come from the same situation. But I think it's real good for the young men that we're mentoring to watch stuff like this, because it's a lot of them that don't have male figures in their life until they meet a coach, a mentor like G, somebody who, I'm not asking for nothing but your best.
Yep, man.
It's important, dog. Definitely important, man. Man, make sure y'all subscribe to the FanvVew Live page on X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And man, make sure you subscribe to the G-Sportz page, man. Give me the 25K, man. 25K, man, before 2025.
25 before 25.
Man, go Rush, man. Come out and support us this year.
Definitely, man. Definitely, man. It's G-Sportz, man. I'm signing out.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step at Step Construction.
It's DatBoyFred, host of FanvVew podcast. Tune into the NOTN app weekdays 3:30 for the FanvVew podcast. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com to watch more episodes of FanvVew podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.